Hello friends and welcome back to VHB tutorials. So now we will move to the next part of our topic, that is derivation of LMTD of the parallel flow heat exchanger. So today I will derive that equation of LMTD, that is logarithmic mean temperature difference theta m for parallel flow heat exchanger. So please watch this lecture till the end, because in between if I will explain the important points, so you will miss that points if you will skip the video. So I hope you will enjoy this lecture. Please don't skip any minutes of this lecture, and please subscribe to my channel if you had not subscribed, right? And please share as much as you can share. And please remember this, keep in mind that keep learning, keep growing, don't give up, right? The concepts which are new will take more efforts to understand, but once you will understand, that will become easy, right? So be with me, and now let's, without further wasting time, we will start our topic. So without wasting much time, we will start our derivation. So first we will see what is meant by LMTD. We know the full form of LMTD, that is logarithmic mean temperature difference, but we don't know what is LMTD, what is the significance of LMTD, right? So the definition of LMTD is, it is defined as the temperature difference which, if constant, would give the same rate of heat transfer as actually occurs under variable conditions of temperature difference. This is the exactly same definition which we will get in the textbook. But what do you mean by this definition? So I will explain. So it is the temperature difference, this is the theta m, it is a kind of temperature difference which we will consider on the paper would give the same results. By considering this temperature, we can get the same results which we will get when we practically use the heat exchanger. That is, when we operate the heat exchanger, then we will get the heat transfer rate actually means approximately same as we will get on the paper by using this heat transfer, by using this temperature difference, right? So this is the definition of LMTD. Now, as we know, before we derive any result or any formula, then we consider some kind of assumptions, because that assumptions are very important to lead us to our final result. So here also we have some types of assumptions, and don't skip these assumptions. Understand these assumptions because these are important. Generally what people do, by seeing the assumptions, they ignore the assumptions. We will not consider the assumptions, we will just directly derive. But all things is dependent on these assumptions. Our derivation is dependent on these assumptions. So these are important. So what is the first assumptions? That U is constant, that is overall heat transfer coefficient for our heat exchanger. Means we are deriving for parallel flow, LMTD for parallel flow, and we will consider our overall heat transfer coefficient as constant. The second is the flow conditions are steady. We have steady flow conditions. The third, we have the specific heat and mass flow rates of both the fluids are constant. That is specific heat as Cp and specific heat as considered as Cp, and this mass flow rate is what? It is m dot. I will show afterwards in this derivation. So now the fourth assumption is what? We have no loss of heat into surroundings. Means our system is such that it is the energy of that system does not interact with the surroundings, means we have no loss, right? Now fifth is there is no change of phase. Means here we are considering that when the cold fluid receives the heat from the hot fluid, it will not change its phase. Means the heat which is receiving by the cold fluid is what? Is a sensible heat. It's not a latent heat, because latent heat helps in changing the phase and sensible heat helps in changing the temperature only, right? We are considering the sensible heat. And we have the second, changes in potential and kinetic energy are negligible. And seventh, last assumption is axial conduction along the tubes of heat exchanger is negligible. Means indirectly we are considering we have only one directional heat flow, and that is along the radial direction of the heat exchanger, that is along the radial direction of the pipes of the heat exchanger, right? In axial direction means in this direction, axial direction of pipes, we have no heat exchange, means we have no conduction, we have no conduction, right? So these are the 7 assumptions which are important, and please try to remember these assumptions. Now we will start our derivation. So now you can see the schematic diagram of parallel flow heat exchanger. This is the innermost pipe and this is the outer pipe, right? We have two concentric pipes. In the innermost pipe we have the hot fluid, and the temperature of the hot fluid at the inlet of the pipe or the heat exchanger is Thi, and the outlet has THO, means I and O are the inlets and the outlets, and the subscript H and C represents the hot and cold fluid. And this is the cold fluid. At the inlet the temperature of cold fluid is TCA, and at outlet it is TCO. Now you can see the temperature versus length or area graph of parallel flow heat exchanger. Now this is the hot fluid line and this is the cold fluid line. The temperature at inlet of hot fluid is THI, and for cold fluid it is TCI. For hot fluid outlet it is THO, and inlet it is, outlet for cold fluid it is TCO. Now you know theta 1 and theta 2 are the end temperature difference, and the whole graph is explained in the previous two videos. So if you had not seen that previous two videos, I suggest you see that first. Now what is the value of theta 1 from the graph? So theta 1, this end temperature difference for parallel flow, and that is theta 1 is THI minus TCI. THI minus TCI. And for theta 2, it is THO minus TCO. Theta 2 it is THO minus TCO. Right? These are the values of theta 1 and theta 2. So now how we will start our derivation. So as we know, when we derive a expression for a system, then we consider an elemental part of that system. So the same way we will consider an elemental area dA. So you can see here we had considered this elemental part, means the elemental part of a heat exchanger is considered, and that is represented on a graph. So this is the elemental part dA. So at any instant of time, the temperatures of hot fluid is, let's say, TH, and the temperature of cold fluid is at TC at any instant of time. Now we will consider what the heat transfer rate through this elemental area. So as we know, this elemental area will have, means through this elemental area we will be having a heat transfer rate. So the formula for this heat transfer rate will be what? Will be, we will consider, let us consider, so we had considered an elementary area dA on the graph. Now at any instant of time, the temperature of hot fluid is TH and the temperature of cold fluid is TC. And for that, the end temperature difference for this elemental area will be theta. We will just represent it as theta. So from graph you know TH minus TC is considered as theta. So theta is equals to TH minus TC. This is for the element. So now the heat transfer rate. So we will write dQ is the heat transfer rate through this elemental area. So dQ is the heat transfer rate. This is heat transfer rate through elementary area. This elementary area is of what? Is of heat exchanger. And we know, what we know, that heat transfer rate through a heat exchanger is given by which formula? Is given by this formula. We know that Q is equals to UA into theta M. Right? This formula we had discussed in the part 2. So if you had not seen that part 2, then I suggest please see that, because the whole concept of this formula is discussed in that part. So we use this formula for what? For heat transfer rate for the heat exchanger. Now this formula applied for the whole heat exchanger, but we are considering in the elementary part. So we will use this formula only, but we will do modifications. That is dQ is equals to, U will remain constant, into dA. Now into temperature difference. So temperature difference will be what? TH minus TC for the heat transfer rate. So it will be TH minus TC. Let us say this is equation number 1. So we got the first equation, that is for the heat transfer rate through the elemental area. So as we know, heat transfer takes place through this elementary area. So as the heat transfer takes place, you know that heat will be lost by what? Hot fluid, and the heat will be gained by the cold fluid, right? So we will write the next line, that due to the heat transfer rate dQ, the hot fluid loses the heat by temperature dTH. This is the temperature difference from point this to point this, and this is the temperature difference for hot fluid, and from point this to this is the temperature difference for cold fluid. So we will write, due to the heat transfer rate dQ, the hot fluid cools by temperature dTH, and the cold fluid heats up by the temperature dTC, right? So I will write that line. So due to heat transfer rate dq, the hot fluid cools by dTh and the cold fluid heat up by dTc, right? So now we will apply the energy balance equation for the elementary part. Now the energy balance equation is also discussed in the previous part. So now I directly apply that equation. So now applying energy balance equation to elementary area dA, we will get what? That dq is equals to what? The heat lost by the hot fluid, which will be equals to the heat gained by the cold fluid, which will be equals to the total heat transfer rate of the heat exchanger. This is our energy balance equation. I will repeat that. What is energy balance equation? The heat lost by the hot fluid is equals to the heat gained by the cold fluid is equals to the total heat transfer rate of a heat exchanger. So this is the heat lost by our elementary area of heat exchanger is dq is equals to heat lost by hot fluid, that is m dot h Cph into temperature difference. It is dt. This is the temperature difference, dTh we had considered here, right? Is equals to the heat lost by the heat gained by the cold fluid, that is m dot c Cpc into dTc, right? We are considering the sensible heat, not the latent heat. So is this equation is correct? I had written this correct equation, please verify it. So this is not the correct equation, right? So how it is not correct, I will explain. Now if you know the convection for thermodynamics means when a body rejects heat, that heat is taken as negative, and when a body gains the heat, then that heat is taken as positive for that body, right? And the exactly opposite for the work. That means when a body perform a work, then that work is taken as positive, and when a body means when a work is done on the body, then that work is taken as negative, right? So this is the convention for thermodynamics. Now in here the hot fluid is losing the heat, so right, for that we will write the heat lost for the hot fluid as negative. So here we are missing a negative sign, so we will write negative here, because the hot fluid is losing the heat and the cold fluid is accepting the heat. So for the cold fluid the heat will be positive. So we are considering the positive heat for the cold fluid. So we are writing the negative sign for the hot fluid. Now if you don't know the convention for the thermodynamics, then from this graph, if you know how to read this graph, then also we can get the idea that where will be negative and where will you get the positive answer. So if you observe the graph for hot fluid, then you can see the slope of the hot fluid is decreasing, right? It have the negative slope. So this dTh will be negative from this graph. And if you will observe the graph of the cold fluid, then you can see the slope is increasing. The slope is increasing. So this dTc will be positive. So from this also we can get where will be positive and where we will get negative. I will repeat again what is the thermodynamic convention. So when a body rejects the heat, then that heat will be considered as negative for that body. And when the heat is accepted by a system or a body, then that accepted heat is taken as what? Positive for the system. And now exactly opposite for the work, means when a work is done by the system is taken as positive. And the work, when we do the work on the system or the body, then that work done on the body is taken as negative, right? So I hope you understood. So we have the energy balance equation. So I will revise the steps. First we had taken the elementary area, then we had find the temperature difference at any insta. So at any insta we have Th minus Tc temperature difference for hot and cold fluid, and the end temperature difference for the elementary area is theta. So theta is equals to Th minus Tc. Now due to dq is the heat transfer rate through elementary area, so we have the formula for the heat transfer rate for the elementary area of the heat exchanger. Now after getting this formula, we will use the energy balance equation. So we have this energy balance equation. So now from this equation we will do some steps, but before that I will rub this part. So please note it down and remember these values of theta 1 and theta 2, right? So I will modify this equation, means I will not modify, I will write this equation in different way. So just observe it. So dq is equals to what? it is m dot h. Okay, I had forgotten to inform that what is m dot h and Cph. Now m dot means it is the mass flow rate. M and the dot represents the mass flow rate, and that h represents that for the hot fluid. So m dot h is for mass flow rate of hot fluid, and this m dot c is of mass flow rate of cold fluid. This Cp is the specific heat at constant pressure. P represents the constant pressure. So Cp is the specific heat for the hot fluid, and Cpc is the specific heat for the cold fluid, right? Now dTA, H and dTc, you know, that is the temperature difference of hot fluid and it is the temperature difference of cold fluid. So dQ is m dot h into Cph into minus dTh, and also dQ is equals to what? M dot h m dot c Cpc into dTc, right? So from this equation, let us mark this equation as equation number 3, and this is equation number 4, and this is equation number 2. So from equation number 3, I will find the value for dTh. So dTh is equals to dQ upon, minus will be there, so it is minus dQ upon m dot h into Cph. Similarly, from equation 4, I will get the value for dTc. So dTc is equals to dQ upon m dot c into Cpc. So this is equation number 5 and equation number 6. So we got the value of dTh and dTc, and for just simplicity, for our convenience, I will reduce this term. This m dot h into Cph is equals to what? Heat capacity rate for the hot fluid. So this is the heat capacity rate. Heat capacity rate. So it is heat capacity rate for hot fluid. Now what is m dot c? It is also the heat capacity rate for cold fluid. So what is the formula? It is the mass flow rate into the specific heat. So mass flow rate, the product of mass flow rate and specific heat will give the heat capacity rate. So this is for the hot fluid. So we had written heat capacity rate for the hot fluid, and m dot c into Cpc is what? Is capital C into Cc. It is the heat capacity rate for the cold fluid. Heat capacity rate for the cold fluid, right? So I will just replace these terms by this Ch and Cc, right? So now what will be the next step? What we will do? So as we have n temp, and so we want to find what? Theta, and in our graph theta is what? The n temperature difference. For now we will consider. So how we will get theta? By subtracting some temperatures. So the next step will be, we will subtract these temperatures. So we will get a theta term, right? So after getting theta term, we will perform some steps. So first we will subtract the above temperatures. That is, we will just do what? Subtracting equation 6 from equation 5. So I will write just directly equation 5 minus equation 6. So what we will get? dTh minus dTc is equals to, dQ will be common, I will take out. So it will be minus dQ in upon Ch minus dQ upon Cc, right? So I will bring this minus dQ out of the bracket. So I will get minus dQ into 1 upon Ch plus 1 upon Cc. So I got this result. Now, if you remember, if you have that graph with you, here I don't have, but I can explain it directly also. So in that graph, if you will observe, we have the instantaneous temperature, means temperature at any specific time of that element as Th minus Tc. So in that graph, I had represented that Th minus Tc as theta. So what is Th? What is Th minus Tc? It is equals to theta. So as Th minus Tc can be theta, then what about dTh minus dTc? So dTh minus dTc can be d theta. So dTh minus dTc can be d theta. As Th minus Tc is theta, so dTh minus dTc is equals to d theta. So I will replace this dAth minus dTc with d theta. So d theta is equals to minus dQ into 1 upon Ch plus 1 upon Cc. So this is equation number 7, right? So we had reached this much part. Now in order to perform the next steps, I have to rub these parts. So if you are deriving with me, then please pause this video and just note it down, and if you are not deriving, then just observe it, and after that you can derive also. So our d theta is equals to what? Minus dq. Now dq, we have the first equation. What is dq? dq is given by u dA into th minus tc, and this th minus tc is what? It is theta. So I will just replace this th minus tc as theta. You have this equation as equation number 1. Please check your copies. You had written this equation, that is u into dA into th minus tc, and I had just replaced this th minus tc with theta. So I will put this equation in place of dq. So it will be minus u dA into theta. Now you will think that here we had considered dA, dq, then why not du? Because in the assumptions we had considered that our overall heat transfer rate, means overall heat transfer coefficient, will be constant. So for every element, if you will take any element of the heat exchanger, then for that element we will get the same heat transfer coefficient, overall heat transfer coefficient, as we will get for the whole heat exchanger. So for that reason we had considered u only, not du, right? So it is minus u dA into theta. We got this into 1 upon ch plus 1 upon cc. So we will apply variable separable form, that is, we will bring this theta terms on the one side. So it will be d theta upon theta, it is minus u into 1 upon ch plus 1 upon cc into dA. So after getting the variable separable form, we will integrate this part. So you can write integrating the above equation, right? You have to write the line that integrating the above equation. So integrating this, we will get d theta upon theta is equals to minus u into 1 upon ch plus 1 upon cc into integration of dA. Now why I had written this out of this integration? Because in the assumptions we had considered u as constant and specific heat as constant, and specific heat and mass flow rate as constant. Sorry. So the product of constant will be constant only. So that for that reason we had considered this term as constant and out of the integration. So what is the boundary condition? It is theta 1, theta 2, and area is it? A is equals to 0 to A is equals to A. That is the whole area of the heat exchanger. So what will be the integration? It will be ln of theta into, means the boundaries are theta 1 to theta 2 into minus u into 1 upon ch plus 1 upon cc into integration will be A, integration of dA is A to 0 to A, right? So I will write directly, I hope you know this expansion, that is ln of theta 2 by theta 1. You will get ln of theta 2 minus ln of theta 1, and ln of theta 2 minus ln of theta 1 will be ln of theta 2 by theta 1. It is equals to minus u into 1 upon ch plus 1 upon cc into A, right? So we got the equation. So we will mark this as equation number 8. And after integration, after integrating the expression for the element, we will get the expression for the complete heat exchanger. Means we got this expression for the whole heat exchanger. So now we will write the results, means the formulas, considering the whole heat exchanger, not the elementary part. So if I will consider the equation, any formula, then I will write the formula for the whole heat exchanger, right? So this is the expansion or the formula for the whole heat exchanger. Now what we will do? So as we have these terms 1 upon ch plus 1 upon cc, then we will find the formula of this. Means we will get some formula which have these parts. So for that we have what? We have the total heat transfer, means we have the energy balance equation, and energy balance equation now I will write for the whole heat exchanger. So according to the energy balance, write this line that according to energy balance for the heat exchanger, for the parallel flow heat exchanger, our Q, heat transfer rate, total heat transfer rate of the heat exchanger, is equals to the heat lost by the cold fluid QH is equals to the heat gained by the cold fluid, right? Heat lost by the hot fluid is equals to heat gained by the cold fluid. This is our energy balance equation. So using this equation, we can get the values of this term. So it is what? It is Q is equals to m dot H into CPH into what? Into THI minus THO, which is equals to, now for QC, it is m dot C CPC into TCO minus TCI. Now again, this equation is explained in the previous, means this whole equation, the concept behind this whole equation is explained in the previous part, that how this formula I had discussed. So please go and see that part. So it is m dot H CPH into this and this, right? And we know what is m dot H into CPH. It is heat capacity rate for the hot fluid. So I will just replace this by CH. And what is m dot C CPC? It is heat capacity rate for the cold fluid. So it is CC, right? What we want 1 upon CH and 1 upon CC. So from this we can get, so 1 upon CH is what? Is equals to, so it is 1 upon CH. It is equals to what? It is THI minus THO divided by Q. And 1 upon CC, again from this equation, 1 upon CC can be written as TCO minus TCI divided by Q. So let us mark this equation as equation 9 and equation 10. So we got the values of 1 upon CH plus 1 upon CC. Now we will just substitute these values here. So ln of theta 2 by theta 1 is equals to minus U into A into what is 1 upon CH? It is THI minus THO divided by Q plus TCO minus TCI divided by Q, right? We got this part. And now we want theta theta. So if you remember, what are the end temperature difference for the parallel flow? It is theta 1 and theta 2. So if you will rewrite this equation, this above equation, then you get the values of theta 1 and theta 2 from the above equation. And how it is so, I will do here. So now as LCM is common, we can take out of the bracket. So it is ln of theta 2 by theta 1 is equals to minus UA upon Q into, now what is theta 1? If you observe the graph, you can get theta 1 for parallel flow as THI minus TCI. And theta 2 is what? THO minus TCO, right? So here you can see we have THI, also we have minus TSI. So we will bring together. So it is minus TCI. We have THO and TCO. Yes, we have THO, TCO. But the difference is what? We have to bring a minus common. So it will be THO minus TCO, because here we have TCO minus THO, but we want THO minus TCO. We will bring a minus sign outside. So it will be minus of THO minus TCO. So you can see here what? Here we have theta 1 and here we have theta 2. So ln of theta 2 by theta 1 is equals to minus UA upon Q into theta 1 minus theta 2, right? Now we will bring Q on the one side. So Q is equals to what? Q is equals to minus UA into, or we can bring this minus sign inside. So we can get theta 2 minus theta 1 upon ln of theta 2 by theta 1, right? And I will just rearrange this equation so you can get the hint that how the formula of theta m will come. So UA into theta 2 minus theta 1 upon ln of theta 2 by theta 1, right? So this is equation number 11. Now if you know, now only I had discussed when I was discussing the first portion of the derivation, that if we write the total heat transfer rate for the heat exchanger, then we use this formula, that is U into A into theta m, right? We use this formula. So if you compare this equation with this equation number 11, then we have u, a, and the remaining part will be what? Theta m. So this remaining part, theta 2 minus theta 1 upon ln of theta 2 by theta 1 will be what? Our theta m, our LMTD. So by comparing equation 11 and equation 12, by comparing equation 11 and 12, we get the value of theta m as theta 2 minus theta 1 upon ln of theta 2 by theta 1, or you can write theta m is equals to theta 1 minus theta 2 upon ln of theta 1 upon theta 2, right? Just multiplying the minus in the denominator. So this is the values of LMTD for parallel flow heat. That's all. I hope you had enjoyed this lecture. If you have any doubts in this derivation, then please ask me in the comment section. Also follow me on the Instagram. I will provide the link in the description corner. And you can ask doubt on the Instagram also. I will reply, right? So please subscribe to my channel if you had not subscribed, and please share much as you can share, right? So bye until the next video. Take care.